What if I told you that a medical text written 3,000 years ago describes a condition that we think of as uniquely modern? And what if it described it with absolutely stunning accuracy? Well, today we're going to uncover that lost science. When you think of polycystic ovarian disease, or PCOD, you probably think it's a modern thing, right? A product of our crazy modern lifestyles. It was only officially diagnosed and put on the books in the 20th century. But what if that's all wrong? What if a text from ancient India, thousands of years old, didn't just describe PCOD perfectly, but actually laid out a whole roadmap to what causes it, and even how to cure it? Well, that's exactly the journey we're on today. Okay, so let's start with the diagnosis itself. We're diving into this incredible ancient text called the Kashyapa Samhita. And honestly, the descriptions in here, they're going to blow your mind. Right off the bat, the connection is just wow. What we call PCOD or PCOS today, they had a name for it: Pushpaghni Jataharini. But this isn't just about some fancy old name. No, the real magic is in the super specific symptoms they wrote down. Okay, get this. The first symptom they list is stula loma ganda. That literally translates to fat cheeks with hair. Come on, is that not a perfect 3,000-year-old description of what we now call moon face and hirsutism? That facial hair growth, that's a classic sign of high androgens in PCOD. It's just wild. Then they talk about something called vrutha pushpam. This means fruitless menstruation, and that is such a brilliant way to describe an anovulatory cycle, right? It's when you get your period, you're bleeding, but it's fruitless because no egg was actually released. They totally got it. And it doesn't stop there. They also described nashtar kazava, which means destroyed or hidden menstruation. And that's a direct hit on amenorrhea, when your period just stops completely, which is a really tough symptom for so many women dealing with this. But here's the real kicker, the most crucial insight from their diagnosis. They didn't see this as a problem with the ovaries at all. Nope. They saw it as a problem with the whole body. They called it a strotorodha, which basically means a metabolic blockage. So the big question is, what's causing this blockage? All right, so if the root of the problem is a blockage, you gotta ask, what's gumming up the works? Well, these ancient texts point their finger at one very specific culprit. The bad guy in this story has a name: ama. The easiest way to think about it is like this sticky, heavy gunk. It's like metabolic sludge that gets created when your digestion isn't working right. And this ama, this sticky stuff, is exactly what they said coats the ovaries and actually forms the cysts. So you can see how this chain reaction happens, right? It all kicks off with poor digestion, which makes that sticky ama. That ama then goes and coats the ovaries. Now this traps what they called vata. Think of it as wind or kinetic energy in the body. And because that energy is stuck, the follicle can't pop open and release an egg like it's supposed to. So what happens? It just hardens up and turns into a cyst. And this whole blockage thing leads to what they called a tissue error. It's like the body's GPS is broken. All the raw materials and nutrients that are supposed to go to your reproductive system get rerouted. And where do they go instead? They go to build fat tissue, or medas. This is their ancient explanation for why weight gain feels so stubborn and just unfair when you're dealing with this condition. It's fascinating. Okay, so we've talked about the what and the why. Now let's get to the cure. And this is where things get really interesting because it involves something modern medicine doesn't talk about much. That deep, deep connection between your body, your mind, and even the cosmos. First up is this ritual called Chandra Jal, or silver water. So in this system, silver is the moon's metal. The whole idea is you let water sit in a pure silver cup or pot overnight. This is supposed to give the water a cooling property, and that cooling energy is meant to directly fight the inflammatory heat that causes symptoms like acne and hair loss. Simple, but powerful. They also get into some more subtle energy-based practices, and they're all designed to fix a broken connection. You've got moon bathing, which is supposed to reset your body's main hormonal control panel. There's chanting the sound Vam to literally vibrate and break up any stagnation in the pelvis. And even using a special hand position, a mudra, to consciously rebuild that mind-to-womb connection. Now, here's something super practical you can do. It's called left nostril breathing, or Chandra Badana. See, your left nostril is connected to what they call the Ida Nadi, or the moon channel. and breathing through it is believed to have this incredible, cooling, calming effect on your whole system. They said this practice can actually lower cortisol and testosterone, which directly fights that high heat internal environment of PCOD.
All right, let's talk food, because of course we have to. But the ancient way of eating for this is not about counting calories or macros. Forget all that. It's about the physical properties of the food. It's all about one key principle: scraping.
The official name for this is lakana, and the whole goal is to eat foods that have this light, dry quality. Why? Because those foods can physically go in and scrape out that sticky ama and all the excess fat that's clogging up your body's channels. It's like taking a little scrub brush to your insides.
So what does a scraping diet actually look like? Well, foods like barley and horse graham are like the superstars of scraping. And drinking warm water with a little bit of raw honey, that's seen as the perfect delivery system to get that scraping action deep into your tissues. But then there are the cloggers. And get this, something as simple as having yogurt after the sun goes down is considered a huge no-no, super clogging for the system.
Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground, right? From this ancient diagnosis to the diet to these amazing esoteric cures. So let's bring it all together. What does this look like as a simple, actionable plan you could start today?
Here are 3 simple actions straight from this ancient playbook. First, scrape. Try switching to barley roddies instead of wheats and drink that warm water with honey. Second, cool. Have that silver-charged water first thing in the morning. And third, connect. Just try a few minutes of left nostril breathing before you go to sleep. Scrape, cool, and connect. It's just an incredible thought, isn't it? That a text that's 3,000 years old could offer such a detailed, sophisticated way of looking at a condition that we're all struggling with so much today. It really leaves you with a big question to chew on. Could the real path to finding our modern balance actually be hidden deep in this ancient wisdom?